Foreign ministers of the BRICS nations have been meeting in Cape Town, with South Africa hosting fellow members Brazil, Russia, India, and China.
Well, foreign ministers from a group of emerging economy nations known as BRICS are meeting in Cape Town.
BRICS is on a path of expansion, but there's been little progress in deciding who will make the cut after 2 days of meetings in Cape Town.
The dollarization. It is a concept that is focused on refraining from the dominance of U.S. dollars for conducting foreign transactions. Through the dollar reserves, many countries are trading goods using the common currency U.S. dollars. According to different reports of trading, every day billions of dollars worth of transactions happen in the international market using dollars. More than 90% of international transactions are done through U.S. dollars. However, BRICS has potential scope in terms of developing their own currency. BRICS nations hold around 26.7% of the total land surface of the world. Such a huge land area is making them capable of initiating economic development and industrialization. Besides, the 5 member countries hold 41% of the world's entire population. Although, many countries as well as the BRICS member countries are dependent on dollar for trading. It is a key reason behind the power of America, and its economic power for ruling and controlling different countries of the world. But how did the reign of U.S. dollars start? U.S. dollars started to get more powerful since the other countries started creating reserves in U.S. dollars. The quantity of assets kept by the central bank of a country is referred to as the foreign exchange reserve. Marketable security, monetary gold, bonds, treasury bills, and other similar assets can all qualify as this type of asset. Throughout the years, the preeminence of the United States dollar and its dominance have resulted in the establishment of a system that has inspired as well as compelled a great number of nations to transact their business in dollars while conducting international trade. These nations also opt to do business in dollars due to the numerous additional advantages offered by the dollar. That is another significant problem that has to be tackled in a different setting. However, we are not going to concentrate on that here. The current global landscape includes more than 200 nations that hold foreign exchange reserves denominated in the currency of the United States. In order to establish a reserve, the national central banks of each country deposit money into a bank located in the United States. The money is always turned into U.S. dollars whenever they do so. In a nutshell, the procedure is analogous to the way in which we are accustomed to saving money, by putting it away in the bank. When we create a reserve, we deposit money with the banks, and when other countries' central banks want to create a reserve, they deposit money with the American banks. It's possible that the thought has crossed your mind to wonder why countries turn their money into dollars when they want to build up their foreign exchange reserves. The reason behind creating foreign reserves is the floating currency. Floating currency means when the value of a currency keeps changing over time, and is considered less stable. Because of that, when two countries are trading goods between them, they prefer to choose a stable currency so that the value of the trading can be kept safe from getting floated. Moreover, the banks in the USA provide interest to the countries that keep their forex reserves. Besides, buying bonds, treasury bills are also beneficial for the countries that keep forex reserves in the USA. In spite of the fact that governments use their foreign exchange reserves for the purpose of exporting and importing goods, there is always some amount that is set aside. The sum may differ from country to country according to the costs of exporting and importing goods. For instance, if a country has a foreign exchange reserve totaling $100 billion and spends $20 billion on costs associated with imports, the country will still have $80 billion remaining in its reserve. As you don't enjoy keeping your money in the bank, and instead prefer investing it so that you may make more money. The sentiment is shared by the countries whose foreign exchange reserves are held in banks in the United States. They do this by investing in American government debt in the form of treasury bills and bonds so that they can profit after the bonds mature. Because of the reserves, the US dollar has become the currency that is used the most and is also the currency that has the most purchasing power, and the process of accumulating reserves is what controls the stability of the US dollar. The United States of America puts these kinds of savings aside for the economic growth of their nation. However, the scenario started to change after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The invasion brought a sanction on Russia from the European Union. It was said that European countries will not buy oil and gas from Russia, as a form of protest against Russia and Vladimir Putin. However, the high demand for oil and gas in Europe made it obvious for the European countries to buy again from Russia. Russia also initiated a very timely move, and decided to sell oil and gas all across Europe through their own currency ruble. The concept of BRICS is also similar. BRICS is an international organization focused on economic development and trading among the member countries of it. BRICS was formed in the year 2010 by the countries like Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and the goal of them was to pursue a combined economic development in the regions. In 2011, South Africa joined as the fifth nation in the organization. In the upcoming summit of BRICS, 10 new member countries are aimed to be included in the organization. As countries like Egypt, Bangladesh, UAE, etc. have applied to be a part of BRICS. The primary aim of BRICS is to develop a trading system between the member countries of it. Complying with the vision, they have created a bank named New Development Bank. The bank is focused on creating reserves from the member countries of it. A $50 billion worth of wealth is deposited to the bank by the member countries, and it is focused on gradually growing to $100 billion. The key aim of this bank is to lend money to the development projects of the member countries. Many countries are lending money from the World Bank and the IMF. In that case, the BRICS Bank can be beneficial for the member countries because this bank is aimed to lend $34 billion per year for development projects in the member countries. The dependency on US dollars and IMF will certainly decrease through this, and already the bank started to lend money for necessary projects. Besides, creating a common currency for trading between the member countries is a big initiative of BRICS. The president of Brazil, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, said that he wonders every night thinking that why every country has to trade their good using the dollar as the currency. Focusing on that, the BRICS members are quite optimistic about the new BRIC currency and its implementation in the market. Here, a noticeable issue is that all the members of BRICS itself are big and developing economies. The other nations are very likely to join BRICS for having a reserve in the BRICS Bank, as it is more focused on the freedom of currency, and the powers are divided among different nations. Compared to that, the US dollars are the sole authority of America and its government. America can control the foreign exchange reserves of any other country, and capable of seizing it, as they have done with Russia during the time of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. During this tough time in the world economy, the countries are aware of revamping the power of their economy to fight the high rate of inflation. Rather than trading in the dollar, leaders of different countries are now focusing on developing a process where the dollarized transactions can be made possible between two countries. Given that, Bangladesh and India have also started trading in rupees and taka, which is largely benefiting the countries and stopping the rate of inflation. Russia has also focused on the same strategy. The president of Russia announced to sell oil, gas, and other commodities in the ruble. $1 billion of transactions that used to happen using US dollars have now been converted into other currencies. The percentage of US dollars and its usage for international trading is decreasing. Similarly, the common currency of BRICS can have a similar impact on US dollars. As almost 41% of the population of the world already belong to the 5 nations of BRICS countries, it will contribute to a vast amount of trading in BRICS currency, and a similar amount of US dollar usage can decrease. With the upcoming summit of BRICS, 10 more countries will be added. In that case, the percentage of BRICS country population will increase more. The dominance of the dollar is in danger. However, the implementation and practicing BRICS currency will at least take a decade. Till then, the dominance of US dollars will sustain, and it will lead to the most powerful currency in the world.